to the Velon arriving in our solar system, or outside of our solar system, about 300 years ago. We have 3 Velon ships outside of our solar system. They can't get in. Now, there are 3 million Velon on these ships, and they are deliberately being held out by the Guardians. Basically, the solar system does not want them in the solar system. The Earth doesn't want them in the solar system. Nobody wants them in the solar system. And so the ones who are in here have been around for a while, quite some time. And so this is a deliberate attempt to build a black hole to open a gateway through the solar system to allow these Velon ships in. And this is what I think CERN was built for. The particle accelerator in CERN was a deliberate attempt again to try and create enough energy on Earth to create a black hole. But this is what people are thinking, is because don't forget the propaganda from the Velon, or from the Anunnaki, through an organization called Ashtar Command. You come across Ashtar Command? Well, they say they have thousands of cloaked ships within our solar system waiting to lift us off the planet to save us so that we can move to another planet. That's another load of bollocks. So where we can safely ascend to the 5th dimension. So basically it's depopulating the Earth, which goes along with the Georgia Guidestones thing of reducing the population to 500 million. So the slave race of 500 million left on Earth. Everybody else is taken off the Earth. As far as I can see, dumped into space, because there isn't another planet out there that we can live on. But around about 300 years ago, 1776, a character called Amsel Rothschild decided to set up an organization which he called the Bavarian Illuminati. And the intention of this organization was to take over the world. This is what was written into the original documents to set up this Bavarian Illuminati. But essentially, they took over total control of the Illuminati virtually from its inception. This they did as much on a psychic level as on a physical level. The way in which they took over the Illuminati was what psychics would describe as a walk-in. Now that is where one soul walks into somebody's body, and in doing so displaces the soul that was in there originally. It's a bit of a bizarre concept, but it's one which the Anunnaki used to take over the Illuminati. Because by doing so they convinced Rothschild that they were an immensely powerful race of beings and could provide whatever energy potential the Illuminati required to carry out their plans. Again, you've got to remember, everything is energy. So if you have a massive energy potential, then you can manipulate anything that you choose to manipulate. And this is what Rothschild took on board, because the body that was taken over was the person he had chosen to be the physical leader of the Illuminati, with Rothschild in the background. This is a guy who's been nicknamed Spartacus, I seem to remember. And from that point onwards, it meant that the Anunnaki had full control of the activity of the Illuminati and all of their activities. And because I think a lot of it's to do with the fact that the aims of the Illuminati and the aims of the Anunnaki are the same, which is control of the human population on the planet. And this is what they set about doing. I mean, the first thing the Illuminati did was to set up the French Revolution, to depose the monarchy within France and take control of the people through, a socialist ideal. This obviously failed, and essentially the Illuminati were thrown out of Europe because the other heads or monarchs of various other countries in Europe didn't want them there any longer, so it became very difficult for Rothschild to operate within that sort of climate. So what the Illuminati did was to move to America. And again, at the time, what they did was the Illuminati took over the Freemasons, and they re-established the Knights Templar. And so basically, what the pre-1900, you had the Eugenics Society set up to try and create the perfect human. So they tried to make that a law so that they had control of who reproduced. So if you were thick, you couldn't reproduce. If you were black, you couldn't reproduce. If you were disabled in any way, you couldn't reproduce. And they were trying to create laws to make that happen within America in particular. The headquarters of the American Eugenics Society is on Long Island, and the building which was their headquarters was the headquarters of the Human Genome Project. I'm basically under 24-hour psychic watch. If it's not by the VLON, it's by the NSA. And so it's difficult sometimes to get out there and look at things.
So what do you mean by that?
Well, just out psychically, I'm watched all the time. To get that book out, the Human Extinction book, I was permanently under psychic attack all the time. Now, the majority of psychic attack is done by the NSA, and the NSA abduct children who have psychic potential, and they put them together in groups of 10 in underground wards, strap them to the bed, stuff them full of tubes to keep them alive, and they force them into psychically attacking people, or creating psychic protection around the Gulf, let's say, or the dark side of the moon. So I tried having a look.
Why would you want to do it in the dark side of the moon?
Well, there's a permanent base up there that's been there since the 1950s that's co-run with the Americans and the Russians. It was done using UFO technology.
Is that the German flying disc technology?
No, well, I mean, you've got to wonder where some of that come from, I have to say. But, no, Roswell.
Do you think that the Germans had ET involvement?
Well, don't forget, the Eugenics Society was supporting the Americans. It was supporting the Germans. And an awful lot of technology and money went from America to Germany to support Hitler. And, the Bush family made their fortune by supplying stuff to Hitler. And I suspect, I know the Roswell crash was 47, but there's obviously been an awful lot of observation of UFOs over the years, and recognizing them as flying discs. I suspect that as the Germans had massive research and build facilities in Peenemünde, that the Americans supplied all of this kind of information for them. I mean, there is some evidence that the first contact between the Greys and the Americans was 1928, not Roswell at all.
I think Roswell's been used as a big distraction.
Well, it's true, it did happen. But given the VLON connection with the Illuminati, who knows what technology the VLON have passed on.
ist mir egal, egal, ist mir egal, egal. Keine Fernseh, keine Handy, keine Ahnung, Zebra mit Blume, yeah, ist mir egal, egal,